Travel around the world and back again. We are back here, Golden Guys. We are here in the kitchen. We're sitting here. We're talking. We were talking. We got some stuff to go around. We know John Comics with Kids is doing a CGC unboxing, I think, video, and great. That's great. Check him out there with TJ. Great donor. We're going to go over those Dragonheart boxes again. Just going to mention them in a little bit later, and of course, don't forget the giveaway that we're doing for Comic Core. Comic Core video, post on anyone and you win this Hulk figure. Check out the video on our channel to check everything out. Make sure you put that hashtag Comic Core Smash, 2 S's, Comic Core Smash. There we go. All right, so we got the that out of the way. Welcome everybody to Golden Guys. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being here. Let's go over here and change this background a little bit because we're going to talk some comics, Golden Age comics right now. I got to go right off. Mike, what's going on?
Feeling good. Back. I'm glad to be back on the show. I feel like it's been a while, even though it's only been a week, right?
Yeah.
I think well, I was sick, but I don't know. You know, you get those weeks sometimes where it seems like it was just yesterday, but this one, I guess I've been pretty busy at work, but I'm glad to be able to talk to about some comic stuff. So yeah. Glad to be back.
We'll do pickups a little bit. I want to save yours a little bit there, DS. Well, how's everything else going besides that ridiculous?
Good. This is going to be the first time I've talked comics in a week because yesterday on our No Faces chat on Bub's channel with me and Bub and Metalog, we spent about, I don't know, it was almost 2 full hours talking about the Kappa stuff. And we all researched it ahead of time, and we brought sort of our opinions and perspectives and what we learned about it to the show. So anybody who's interested in hearing a pretty good, I think it was a really good discussion about the Kappa stuff and how it relates to YouTube community. Check out the No Faces chat on Bub's Comics channel from yesterday.
What is the Kappa stuff?
Huh? Some about the kids stuff. You have to make things as adult or not adult. This show, we're pretty tame in here. Just keep the chat normal, whatever, you know. Yeah. I could put a disclosure, but I'm not going to do that because I do think that's not what we're about on this show. Other shows I do? Yep. Yeah, there's a couple of X's I put on some of those damn shows.
Am I supposed to mark I marked my channel as not for kids?
I don't know if it matters.
Is that bad?
I mean,
has already been flagged over and not for kids, so.
I marked mine for adults too. So
yeah, and my channel is boring. My kids are on it, so I don't do anything on my channel. I don't do any live stuff. So anyway, good to be talking comics and everything. We should do. I guess first thing I just want to go over is these auctions. I mean, this Marvel one. What are we at? Anybody know offhand? I have not checked. It didn't sell yet, right? That closes tonight.
I don't know.
I lost track.
I'm not sure. I think might be Thursday, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't have Heritage on my phone. I just got a new phone, so
I'll take a look.
I was just trying to check that, and it just went down, and I had to restart it. So
the Vince's auction has some good stuff going. Comic Connect auction.
Yeah,
and tomorrow is the big one for Comic Link. I mean, they got a lot of good stuff in Comic Link auction.
The auction started tonight.
The 19th. Yeah, tonight. Yeah. About 5 minutes ago. Yeah. This original art right here, the original art from this, and anybody in the chat probably has never even seen this. I'm going to show this real quick right here. The original art for this right here is on there, and if anybody wants to take a guess who this is, let me know. You might get a prize from me. By the end of the chat, look who did that art and how old he was, and why is that significant. But that original art's out there. I've been on original art kick, so I was checking that out. But there was a bunch of other books I want to keep an eye on. That 9.2 that Comic Connect has, the Action 13 that's out there in Comic Link, I think. That 9.2 Action 13.
That's on Comic Connect?
It might be Vince, yeah. It could be. That's a nice one.
I was looking at this it's kind of Golden Age related. There's a
I'll
few
go to
guys.
comments because I was just on the phone with them a little while ago. So.
There's a few guys on Instagram who like to collect Destroyer original art.
It's not John Buscema, Mr. Gretzky. Good guess though, because everything behind me fucking Buscema'd out. Ooh, look at that! Yeah, the Invaders. Yeah, which one is that? Is that giant size?
No, that's number 18.
Okay, giant size or king size. One of that is a very significant cover. If you can, it's the last Schoenberg done for Marvel.
But this one's a great Destroyer cover, and you know, I thought rather naively it might be here's the Destroyer. Let's there he is.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And that's a pretty good drawing of him. But I thought maybe it would be a reasonable price, but right now it's already at 17,400.
Jeez, that's pretty good. That's good.
That's original art now. I mean, for something like that, and Invaders is such a good run. And who did that? Is that a Gil Kane or? Coletta could be.
Yeah, Gil Kane.
Gil Kane, yeah. I'm trying to think of which one it would be right there. No, it's not Neil Adams, Marvel Hammer. It's not Frank Frazetta. Great guess, Mr. Gretzky, because that's what it was based on. But if you don't know that book, I'll just tell you right now, it predates Conan 1 Marvel.
Here's the Marvel 1.
Where are we at on that? That's a 9-4. I think we have a. How many days left? 2 days?
It ends on Thursday.
Yeah, but with Live Premium, it's 915,000.
Yeah, 915 right now. Do we think it's going to still hit 1.5?
Yeah. Well, what you mean?
You were against me on this. Knights, you don't think it's going to hit 1.5?
1.5?
1.5 million.
I don't know.
I think it should go for 2, considering where the Action one went and considering where the other over $1 million books went. I think this is maybe, if it's not the Action 190 Blue Label, then it's right number 2 of that, in my opinion. Again, I'm just saying because I don't consider the second character of a run, which isn't even the second character. Batman's like the 9th character, or there's plenty of the characters during the whole Action run, and Batman just is the second most popular character, you know. But Marvel, that's it. That's 1. Human Torch 1. Bang. Right there.
There's another good one that ends. This is a pretty big book.
Is it Action 13? Who's got that one? Oh, I was supposed to check Comic Connect. I got that.
There's only 4 higher than this. Here's Headline Comics 8, which is a classic Hitler cover.
Nice.
7.5, and this one also ends Thursday, and the current bid with the buyer's premium is 20,400.
So right now, the Action, I'll show that. I think we have that on one of the brands here. I have. Hang on. Not Action 1. Maybe it's on Golden, guys. Action Comics number 13, the train cover we were showing. That one is up to 9.2 is up to 102,000, and I still think that's it's at my opinion on it was 205. So it's 19 days remaining. So that gives you an idea of how up I am on that. I didn't think it would hit $250,000. I said it should, but it would. But considering where this one is, I think it's definitely the highest grade, and the inside is for Superman 1, so it's kind of like a big time there, and a Joe Shuster train. I mean, it's Joe Shuster, so
there's a Wiz 6.0.
It's a 9.2 grade, by the way, on that one. Sorry, I can screen share, but I got to figure that out. Hang on.
There's a Wiz 6.0. That's 84,000.
That's a Wiz 1, you mean?
Yeah.
Wiz 2/Wiz 1. It's Wiz number 2, first Wiz. First appearance of Captain Marvel, obviously the big significance there.
Yeah, it's always been a big book.
What grade is that one? What grade is that?
There's been more buzz about that in the last year or so.
6.0.
6.0. Okay, where do we think that's going to go? I'm going to throw right now. The end of that one will be 175,000.
Yeah, I think You might be right, but how I would gauge that, I think that will sell comparably to an All-Star 8, the first one. I think those are very comparable books.
Both very hard to find in good grades. The two with those books is there's 194 of that All-Star 8, I think. I think there's 194 of that. I think the highest Wiz is that 9, is that Edgar Church one, right?
I don't know, I think there's probably less copies of the Wiz, and they're probably lower than the one, that's for sure. But
there are a lot of that, but All-Star was one of those that if you find it, it's a rarity.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's one of the big what I call the Elite 8, of the Golden Age superhero books. Right up.
Age, but this original cover art by Neil Adams is on Heritage also.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was asking where do we think that's going, and I said it's $1 million. If it hits $1 million, I'd be surprised. Yeah. Next bid is 450, huh?
Yeah, and this one ends Thursday also.
Yeah, I honestly think the best price that goes is 650, maybe 7 at the most, because it isn't that old. It's not like Neil can't do cover recreations of that. He does. He charges $10,000 for it.
I'd say top 3 Joker covers ever.
I think Neil changed the Joker from being a kooky character to being, he was before Alan Moore's, and everything else going on, before Wrights and everybody else. I think Batman was Frank Miller, Batman. You got to remember, Batman was pretty hokey up until, the Joker was kind of like an unknown character, and Batman was kind of hokey until the next group took over. And no offense to Kurt Swan and everybody around those guys and stuff like that, but Neil took over, and I'm going to praise it right now. And
here's one that surprises me here. Oh, you got a Superman 1? What's that at?
It's a 2.0, and it's going for current is $92K. Oh no, with buyer's premium, it's $111,000.
And when is that one done?
$1,000. Oh wait, 2.0. That's probably like 75 to 100.
What about a Marvel Fun Comics? They got a 73, Marvel Fun 73, first appearance of Aquaman and Green Arrow.
I haven't been watching that.
That's an 8.0. It's already up to, ready? With 21 days left, 20,500. That's well going higher than that.
Oh yeah.
This one, I'm going to say it'll hit 6 figures easily.
Here's one that surprises me. This is tied for highest graded.
Oh, pre-Batman Tech, Tech 2 or Tech 1?
Yeah, Tech 2, and or Tech 3, I think. Tech 3, but this is a tough one to find. 2 and 5.5 and none higher. Yeah. And the current bid on this. And
I saw that one. I thought DS.
46.80. So I think that's pretty cheap for this book, honestly.
Yeah. Did you see this one, DS?
Yeah, that's probably a $7,000 or $8,000 book.
Right now, 6,300.
Yeah, that'll go higher. That's a really high grade for that book.
You think it'll break 10 like Black Cat did? At the same grade, 7.0s broke 10 grand pretty easily.
Yeah, there's more. I feel like a Black Cat in higher grade seems to go for more than that would even.
But there's more Black Cats than there is that.
Yeah, there's definitely, but there's a number of those out there though, those suspense 8s. But I could see. I think 8 to 10 is a reasonable range for that.
Good call.
But I have a 4.0, so I'm not upgrading anytime soon. But man, that 7.0 is a nice copy. Usually only see those in 2.5s, 3.0s range.
Well, we'll be definitely keep an eye on that Marvel one for sure, and anything that's ending on Heritage ends this Thursday. Comic Link starts today, and we have about 23 weeks to 3.5 weeks for a lot of the stuff on Comic Connect auctions. So there's a lot of the big 3 auctions are doing. These are actually good auctions this time of year. It's the silly season's about to start, so this is what they go for. There's that Wiz 1. That's a 0.5.
Slightly brittle, missing back cover.
Oh boy, honestly, that shouldn't break 10 grand.
It's at 8,700.
Should not break 10 grand. Anybody who pays 10 grand for that thing, there are not a lot of them. I get it, but that's a point.
Brittle or slightly brittle?
Brittle.
Slightly.
You still can't. There's nothing you can do with it. There's no back cover.
No, but I mean, this is why they need to start having more of a range on when they say slightly brittle, like, because sometimes it just means the lower right corner. If there's any brittleness on the pages at all, it could be a little 1-inch square on the corner being brittle, and they call it slightly brittle. But that means the interior of the pages is not brittle, but somewhere along the edges is, but you can't tell. And they need to do like a little 3x3 square rectangle on the back to show like a representation of the book, and then color in the parts where it's brittle or something to tell us, because that doesn't tell you much. And
Right.
You're paying for the cover on this. A great
it's the interior.
Then go buy the
presentation.
6,000. I mean, no, I mean, it's to me. If you're going to spend $10,000 on a book, that's not the $10,000 you want to spend it on a Captain Marvel either. I don't care if you had a better. You can buy a better Captain Marvel, or a Captain Marvel Jr., or Miss Marvel, or Mary Marvel, or whoever. You can buy.
Think at 10, you're getting a good deal.
You think so?
More.
Do you put that in the Elite 8? Because it's right out to me. It's number 8 on the Elite 8.
Well, you got to figure
Action,
if you added a back cover, what would it be worth?
Oh,
30.
yeah. Well, it wouldn't be a 0.5 then.
Yeah, but I mean, for whatever reason, the lowest complete one that would look similar, that's what you got to kind
It presents very well for the grade because it's missing a back cover, and you're always going to know you have an incomplete book.
It's tough though, because that one we're saying is it worth 10 grand, and there's some dispute about that. But then you get something like a Centaur, like Amazing Man 22. It's not a key. It's basically just a cover art with a Nazi monster on it.
Right.
And 3.0 is selling for 25 grand, and this is a huge key.
I agree with that.
It's so hard in the GA market to think about. That should be a bigger book than Amazing Man 22, which is just a cool Centaur cover that's tough to find with a green monster on the front. And that's selling for 22,000 in like a 3.0. And then this one might not hit 10 grand. Then that's a massive superhero key. It's weird. It's really a strange market, man.
Have Golden Age comics officially become art only and no longer comic books? Good question. Are people, what percentage of Golden Age buyers today, buys that have happened since, let's say, 2018, how many Golden Age books bought, not slabbed, raw books bought, have actually been read? My guess is 2%.
Yeah, I mean, I read all the raw ones I get. But
it's an art now, so I could see why covers are going this way now, and that's what I've discovered in my own business. When I personally think about comic books, it's why I like the Eries and the Warrens and everything else like that, is because the interiors are so damn good. Well, there's a lot of that I have in the Golden Age too, especially with the crime ones, especially with the Westerns. I don't want to slab them as much because I can't get readers. Now I'm getting these books. I'm finding these books at this bookstore over here that were done in the 70s that just reprinted everything from Atlas. Ninja Turtles, what's that one going for? Is that obviously first edition?
Yep, it's at 43K.
I mean, that's a $100,000 book these days.
Yeah, I mean, it's what it is. But that makes sense for that generation is coming into money. Our generation, well, they should, but whatever. if they're comic book people, they never had
money to buy TV.
Yeah. If you're a comic book collector, you never come into my money. You come into this world. Oh, I found some money. Really? What'd you get with it? Found some money. Yeah, what is it? It's a Doctor Strange book or something.
Yeah, I mean, most of the look. I know GA collectors have this reputation
as cover
collectors, and that's fine. That's mostly true. But when you watch anybody's video or see anybody with Silver Age books or Bronze Age books or modern variants, 90% of all comic collectors are talking about the cover, interested in the cover. The first appearance of Rogue, first appearance of Doctor Strange. They don't sell for as much as they should because of the covers. And the cover is the centerpiece of that work of art. Yeah, there's good stories inside too, but ultimately the cover is dominating this art form.
What grade is that? 8.5?
Jeez, that's a high grade for that.
Yeah.
102K.
How long does that go? Does that end Thursday too?
Yep.
That might be 102K. That's cheap for that, considering what book it is. How many dollars did you
go for at least 150, I'd say.
Bursa in the chat. I'm going to say Chris Barrett. We can't start a show without Chris Barrett. We never have. We never will. That's not true. Chris, we love you, but we will start without you. Well, shout out to anybody who I can't see in the chat. That's because they're not on mute. They're just while watching from their TVs and stuff. Thank you, everybody there. DS is in the chat. I'm in the chat. Marvel Hunter, Knights of Old is in the chat. Mr. Gretzky. Yeah, we're still trying to guess what that is, huh?
12,600.
The Comic Den, the little barbarian named Conan. Nice. Those are bonkers numbers when you wrap your head around. Look at the Comic Den. Great having Ace or Chris Rao. It's Ace Knuckles. We're going to have him as our first guest on a new show we're doing called Between Two Nerds. And it's Discovery Bay and myself. And we're going to have Chris Rao. We're going to interview him, and we're going to talk about the new book, Magnus #2, which if you watched that Magnus 1 review I did, and we had Chris and Ace on for that one as well. So that'll be a good one, too, coming up in the future. Bub's Comics over here. The No Faces chat about comics that end up being about Koopa. Good stuff. Oh, there's that LB Cole. There's that Mask One right there. I think somebody else has one coming back from CGC coming soon. Dennis Hayes. Nice, good call. Good having you here, Bubs. Look at this, Mr. Gretzky. Flash sale. DS Comic Den. Nice. Woot, woot. Okay, here we go. So
what's the price on the mask?
12,600.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's a book that's high on my list, but
screen share something here.
$2,000 point is like max on something like that for me, and I mean, a 5.5's out of my price range anyway. But I really think a 5.5 is like a 10 to 11 grand book, and it's going for more than that. And I just think that book is it's high. It's a sought after book, and it's pricey, but it's not a rare book. I don't want to say that it's highly sought after. The demand outpaces the supply on that book, but it's not a rare book. And since it's been selling for so much, there's going to be a bunch more hitting the market. I've got one at CGC right now coming back. It's a consignment for me, but it's the only reason he's grading it is because he's seeing the prices on it. So there's another one added to the census now that I'll have to sell. And it's not that rare of a book. There's a lot of copies out there. So I'm going to let it cool down a little bit,
nice,
hopefully at some point. But if it doesn't, I'm screwed. I'll never get it, but we'll see.
So let's go over what we picked up. Where's that tech? How restored is that? How restored is it?
9.6, but
how restored is it?
Extensive.
Yeah, how extensive? Let's go over this. How much of a book is it?
It's got everything done to it.
Yeah.
Like the reason why you don't touch that stuff is because you really didn't buy a Tech 31. What you bought is somebody making you a Frankenstein.
15.
Yeah, then it becomes the highest graded copy, and people are like, highest graded.
Well, I want it. Yeah.
I know.
We're gonna go over what we picked up this week a little bit right now, and let me go.
Get a copy. Just buy a like a poster.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a 3.5, of that book, which I saw at Baltimore, and it was out of my price range, but there was a 0.5, and it presented decent for a 0.5, and it was complete and unrestored, and it was that's be a good copy, man. It's legit. I don't mind honest wear on books. If they're beat up, they're beat up, but I can't stand when you look at a book and you can't tell what part's the book and what part's fake and what part's touch up. I mean,
great work, great restoration work, and everything that they do.
I mean, it's an awesome piece, but
yeah. How much do you think that book would be worth if it presented as nice as that Wiz with no back cover?
And it was a 0.5?
Yep, no back cover.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say
30,000, 25, 30,000.
Whew. Yeah.
0.5 with the front cover intact would be probably a 30,000 on that book. It's probably it's probably 20. Between 20 and 30 for a beat 0.5 copy. If you have a good looking 0.5, I think 30 grand's legit.
That's overpriced.
So I did go to a comic swap. So we did look at Golden Age. Paul was supposed to join us. He got a great Battle Action Russ Heath cover. Really good with the old Joe Manili on the interior. Was really good.
How's his daughter?
She's doing okay. She was here all weekend with us. So we had her on Saturday morning all the way through. We spent the day with the daughters, and we went out, and then we ditched everybody. Him and I, we went out for beers a few times. Then we went out and did some comic swapping. So I took this was my trade. I took My Avengers 195 slabbed 9.6 that I got as a freaking when I bought the one. I didn't get it slabbed; it came slabbed. I bought something from a guy and I brought it home. It was the 196, and he sold to me as a $85 near mint was slabbed 9.4. Was going to press it, but he just needed to sell it. Got home, I looked at it, I said, "This is no way is going to get a 9.4 no matter what you do to it." And what happened is that he might have been right on it, but it didn't matter. I sent it in without even doing anything with it, and it came back a 9.0. So then I'm like sitting there, I'm like, damn it, I should have pressed and slabbed, and I've had it sitting there. I took those two books, and I turned it into a book I sold on the CGC boards the other day for $50. In seconds, I found a better, just as good copy right there. So that's going back on the boards. Mike Plug, Monster Frankenstein, pretty decent copy for this book. I love this book because I love this. I'm trying to get this, the X-Men 40, and the League of Monsters 1 from. I think I have one copy. I think I need one more copy.
What do you need for Legion of Monsters? You need the magazine or the comic book?
Magazine. I have the comic book one.
I got the magazine at CGC.
Oh, you got it there now?
Yeah, it's probably like a 9.2.
We'll have to talk.
All right.
That's, I'm looking for a presentable copy.
It's a beautiful.
Because I have my reader.
Yeah, I got a beautiful copy.
Those I want to. It's one of my favorite covers. I have the Spider Woman with all of them on it, and it's really hard to find that one, the photo cover. And I have a really good one of those. So I also turn those two books, into these three as well. Decent copy of 170, probably about a fine plus. No, it's very fine. It's a good one. It's a real nice copy. That's not just my word. Definitely needs a press. I know whose collection this was. This is ridiculously in good shape. This was another one. And if this is my other thing, I was going to say, Silver Ages. When you run out of what to collect in Silver Ages, if you want to find out things that go up in value all the time, Spider-Man cameos that are 12 cents are huge. They are worth more than any other book of that run that doesn't worth as much. Your second, third
thing.
Your non-key.
They're worth nothing, and then the 35 is worth a lot because it's got a Spider-Man cameo.
Look at even the ASM. After you get side 1, 3, and 4, the next closest one is 14. Picked up this little bad boy. Anybody know what the significance of this Conan 12 is, other than that it's the yellow?
I like the Barry Windsor Smith artwork.
Yeah. Well, there's somebody else who did some artwork in here too. Very early, Bernie Wrightson.
Oh yeah.
Yep. In the inside, he did the monster and the story of the Bloodbath and the Dragon. Roy Thomas, and then a uncredited but recognized artist was Bernie Wrightson in there, and that's the monster he came up with. There it is. That's the second time he's ever done a Conan. Everybody had that one chance. This is the first thing Bernie Wrightson ever got paid to do. This was a high school. He did this in high school, and you'll see the artwork on, I think Comic Link has the artwork, right? Yeah, Comic Link has the artwork for this for sale right now. And I got the book. Like I said, I got a guy who's got these old books, and he had one. And I looked on the inside, and it was signed by him, L. Sprague de Camp himself, right there. And it's illustrated by Roy Krenkel on the inside, but in there it says, the dust wrapper for this book is the work of a young Baltimore artist by the name of Bernie Wrightson. And if you tell the date of when it was published and when this was done, he was 18.
What year is that?
1965, 66.
Yeah, I mean that predates the.
No, it's got to be later than that because when he's a year younger, when he's 16, he's in the Creepy. So actually, but he didn't get paid to write a letter to Fran Frazetta.
Well, that might predate the House of.
Oh yeah, it predates that. But yeah, 1968.
That's 69.
Yeah, this is 68 copyright. So obviously, that's not the time that this was painted. He usually put the year down. He might have done it on the inside of this, actually. I don't know. We'll find out. It's probably out there. But that's his first edition, by the way. this is really hard to find since they only printed. But if you ever find the Mirage Press, it's only came out of Baltimore, where Bernie was in high school and did this.
Yeah, so this one, the note on this says Bernie writes in first professional work, but it must just be first professional work in comics, because this is
Well, I could tell you about a stack of things that CGC gets wrong on every one of those. When it comes to artwork, they're wrong on everything.
it's his first comic book work for sure.
Well, I don't know. Do you consider Creepy a comic book?
No, that's not a comic book. That's a magazine.
That predates this by 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, but they put Bernie writes in first professional work. Those would be professional works, obviously.
He got paid for this.
Yeah, that's if he got paid for it.
He got paid. Yeah, young artist. His first professional work, published professional work.
Yeah.
Yep. They forget about this little 1,000 print little hardcover book that came out in '68.
Yeah. I mean, I'm only worried about the comic book stuff anyway, so that's why.
I know. This is my part of my break. Look, I was going to show you this is I'm doing Wrightson Week here on Comic Core coming soon, about next month sometime. So all Wrightson all week is going to be there's going to be something on Wrightson on each one of these things shows. We're going to do different shows based on Wrightson. I pulled out my old boxes of stuff in storage. I forgot about this part. This is a Burning Wrightson official fan club binder.
Nice.
These are from 1999. You got these things, and I just found this little bad boy. This is a backstage pass to a Meatloaf, but Bernie did that cover, did that artwork.
Oh, that's cool artwork on that.
Yep, obscure stuff, signed prints he sent to everybody. I think it was like $24.99, and you get your letter, your welcome letter here, and then you got all your little. It only went to 2 issues. I think that's all I paid for, or whatever was paid for.
Which artist would you say has the most value for stuff like that? Because I find that even some of the Frazetta portfolios are kind of cheap, you know?
I would say of the big four, the comic artists, let me get the main screen off me right now. Oh, I didn't show the last book I got. The big one of the bunch. And I got $22 back after that, all trading those 2 books. Look at this one. I've been looking for this cover for a long time. This is a tough one to find in this grade. And he was doing a bargain basement sale on this one. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. It definitely needs a press, but that's about it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really nice. I mean, there's fine here and there. It's not going to be. It's such a hard cover to find. Everywhere I went in Baltimore, I couldn't find anything higher than a 4. You know, a 4. I saw one guy with a 5. I think with a good press on this one, because I'm giving this a fine right now in its current condition. It's a fine, but a good press and everything else, I could see this hitting VF minus, possibly even VF. You know, such a good book. It's nice on the interior. There is a little chop out. The back cover is pretty pristine. There is one thing on the interior.
It's that damn back cover though. That's on everything.
There's like a production.
Raw guy.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
This is pretty neat. This is a pretty clean cover.
Yeah,
This is really, really clean. I mean, I would have traded. Honestly, I would have traded everything without the Doctor Stranges, pretty much for that. You know, that's what I. If you don't know why the significance of this book is, if you're a Doctor Strange fan, this is the first time he actually appears in his full body on a cover. If you take into the fact that he's in his astral plane. So there's always discrepancy because this is right before Strange Tales 118. So they're the first face, the first this, and then the first other one on covers right here. And this is a pretty good storyline. And by the way, you love this red pants Submariner, Kirby Submariner with the red jammies.
Kami.
Sense. Yep. So that's my big haul. Now I know DS did one too.
Yeah, I mean I got a haul.
Get you to this thing.
One book haul, and
but it's a biggie.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got this on eBay. I saw it pop up, and you know, everybody who's always complaining about eBay, I find stuff on there all the time, and rare stuff, awesome stuff. So
come on, put you up here. Trying to get you up to the middle. There it is. I just do it.
Yeah, I mean that works. So this is one of my Alex Schoenberg Grails, and it's not a book I have it's on my list and it's high up for Schomburg, but it's not something I expect to come across. But I'll show it and I talk a little bit about it. But it's All New Comics 8, and it's just a fantastic Schomburg cover here. This is there's only 17 on the census, so it's not an easy book to find, and they get scarfed up as soon as they're out there. So this one popped up on eBay, and I didn't even hesitate. I saw it as soon as it was listed, and I just grabbed it. And it's such a big book for me, and I think just generally that I actually violated one of my own PC rules for it. This one has a detached cover, which I normally stay away from, but for this book, I'm fine with it. I mean,
is it completely detached, or is it detached at the spine? In between.
It's a 1944 book, so it only has one staple, so it's
right.
It's detached at one staple. But otherwise,
it's not split though.
So
the cover's not split.
Huh?
The cover's not split.
Yeah, so I mean the colors are bright on this. The white, pretty white, and yeah, it's a really clean copy, and it's just maxed out because of the detached cover at 4.0, but it's really like a 6.0 presenting book. And, yeah, beautiful, beautiful Schomburg gray. I didn't expect to get anytime soon, and this is the sixth highest graded too. There's only 5 higher than this, so that just goes to show you most of these are in low grade. So this is a pretty high grade for this book.
What I know about that book is it is the rare of the team books or these all winners or whatever. Everything Schomburg was doing, even the Nidor Black Terrors and stuff like that. This is the rarest one, scarce. I would actually consider this book scarce, because to find it in anything, a presentable cover with white anywhere on that all new part, because these were such crappy made books, but you find a book like this, you see it, and look at the corners being crisp and the colors being perfect.
Yeah, I mean the corners, that one's got a little ding. This one's pretty sharp. You can see the edges are good. The spine is good. It's a sharp copy. It's just you can't get higher than a 4.0 with a detached cover. So
hey, Discovery Bay, JB, rocking having you here. Pope Cerebus the First, my pontiff, good having you here.
Let me know when you upgrade, and I'll buy that off you.
People call it Poor Man's Suspense 3 because of this part of the cover. And it certainly has some similarities. So there's just so much going on in this cover. It's just insane.
Yeah, it's such the colors, the green lady, there she is. Is she wearing green or brown?
Yellow.
Yeah, she's being rescued then. Yeah. The Nazis wear the green, see? So yes, I'm telling you, there's something about that. 1944 all the way up to 49. What year is that?
Guy there, and it's got I don't know. This guy.
This is 1941. This is pre-Pearl Harbor, by the way, right?
No, this is 1944.
Yeah, I mean, this was 44. What's the first one that he did with that wizard dude in the back? It's not an all new comic. Something bad with the stabbing, and not before. What year was Suspense?
Suspense 3, I think, was 42 or 43.
Yeah, there was one. What was the Schomburg one with the stabbing before that? Because that's what that reminds me of.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might be a timely. I don't know.
It is a timely.
But you can take me off the screen unless people want to stare at this rest of the show, which is fine by me.
Yeah, I think that's the highlight of the show so far. Other than we have to go through. So let's.
Is that a little sub collection? The Schomburg stabbing covers.
Well, we have to do another one of those shows, don't we?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I collect Schomburg non-timely Schomburgs. Robot covers. I like the Continentals. This is a Harvey. There's a couple timelies I like. Honestly, I like Marvel Mystery 28 probably the most, and 24 cool. But 28 is probably my favorite Marvel Mystery. I'll pick that up at some point. But that's a very similar scene to something like this or the Suspense comics too. So
what's the date on that comic? That all new?
May of 44.
So this is saying April of 44 was Suspense 3.
Oh, so almost at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought 3 was a little earlier.
He did covers often, a bunch of them at the same time. So he could have just been like, I'm doing a bunch of stabbing covers.
I like stabbing covers. 90% of them have a brunette girl stabbing somebody wearing a loincloth outfit.
Yeah, there's a lot of those in those Jungle comics.
Well, that's what I buy the most of. Is that I like her more than Sheena.
Well, should we get through some of these newsstands?
Let's see. We're back. Okay, everybody. What year are we going back to? 41?
38.
1938. Okay, hang on one second here. It's 1938. We're already past April. We all got one of these. Okay, we all got one of these. Now ready? All right, we're going back to the comic book shop. What's on the shelves, DS? You ready to share that screen?
Yep.
All right. Here we go.
All right.
Hey, everybody in the chat, this is our favorite part. We go back in time. We go back to the comic shops in 1938. We don't know the future. We try not to be prejudiced about what we see. But
sorry, that was an accident.
All right. We'll get there soon. It's good. It's all good. We got oh yeah, Sub Up Comic Den for sure. Check out his Instagram for sure. He does a great book called Magnus the Brave. It reminds me a lot of a spacier version of Conan, kind of a Khazar thing going on. If you're a Khazar fan, but not the it's just fun shit. It's real good. It's real fun. It's real good. I can't wait to do I read number 2 already. Thank you very much, Ace. And I'm ready to do our review. I'm passing this on. Discovery Bay. By the way, Discovery Bay, who is in the chat, he is going to be doing the Between Two Ferns with me, and I'll have him reach out with Discovery Bay, and we'll figure out when we're ready to do that. But let's go right back now to 1938 and see what's on the shelves. What do we got new comic book day?
All right, so November, Mandrake.
The Magicians. How come those covers never sell? Those books, you could buy them all cheap, The Magician, but they're cool.
I don't see that too often, but
there's some real rare ones of that, but yeah, they don't suffer much because the covers are just sort of simplistic and they're cool.
In general, all the books that are like public domain, there's just less of a incentive. I don't know. There's just something about it is less collectible.
Okay.
In my opinion.
There you go. Ooh.
That's a pretty cool one.
That's a Scarlet Avenger, right?
Yep, that's 22.
Yep. Crimson Avenger.
Crimson Avenger, yeah.
Crimson Avenger, yep, that's a great one. Look at that cover.
39. 39 is a great.
Oh, fantastic. Hold up on that one.
Look at that one.
That's probably a Lou Fine.
I'm thinking that's got to be Lou Fine right there. Look at that
monster, I guess. I would guess Lou Fine.
Yeah.
Another detective. This is it's got a cool little Batman head on the top there.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the long ears on the Batman.
Oh, nice Flash. That's a big one.
First appearance of Flash.
Yep. Oh, I've been looking for a few Silver Streaks just to see what they're going for.
They go for a lot.
They go for a ton, man. They go for a lot.
And some of them are super, super rare, like this one. I don't think I have ever seen one.
I mean, the first appearance of Claw, right, is a Silver Streak.
Yep.
So, yeah, and I don't think I've ever seen this.
This is probably second. Right? Is this second appearance of Claw?
What number?
I think it's either 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's got to be second appearance of Claw.
It might be.
He first shows up in he doesn't go anywhere else for a while.
Look at that.
That's nice. That's a Lou Fine too.
Fine.
This is a great week. It would be tough to figure out. You'd need a buck for sure.
Yeah.
I might get that tech, to be honest with you. That's like a kind of cover I'd go after. I'll get robot cover. We know where DS is going.
Yeah, Pep 1. This one, I've seen a couple of these come up, and I just haven't. It hasn't been the right time for me. But that's
patriotic hero.
Pep 1 is a tough one. Oh boy, that is a great. That's Marvel Mystery 3. That's Alan Bellum's only cover he ever did for Marvel.
Well, according to everyone else, it's a Schomburg.
It's not. I can prove it. It's Marvel Mystery 3, right?
Yep.
All right. Look up here. It's the only one he gets credit for. Who'd you ask? Who'd they ask? Is that's volume 2, right?
No, volume 1.
Volume 2.
Yeah, there's only one volume Marvel Mystery.
No. There's 3 volumes, right?
Oh, Yeah, I mean, Goodman has all kinds of crazy stuff with the way he.
Yeah, Goodman has 2 number 3s. There's 2 3s. Yeah. All right, next. That is Schoenberg. Sorry.
You can see the difference. Early style is more pulpy, and then his later style becomes like the one I showed is
That's
they
the
look like
stabbing cover.
completely different artists. His early style is very pulpy.
That's why I remember this comic now, is because I'm looking for the other one to get Alan Bellum to sign it in Denver when he's in Denver, because he's still alive.
I was looking for this.
That's the guy.
Since January, and there was finally that one in that auction, and I overpaid and won it. But I still have not seen another one offered that's complete.
Are you planning on upgrading yours when you do see it?
No, I just, I have all the
a 2.5. Did you get a slam?
filters still set up on my, computers and searches and everything, and I just keep a lookout, because you never know. Like, it could go cheap. Maybe it's a copy that has a flaw that I could get and cheap and sell this one. Who knows? But this one mine has the Funnies stamp as a file copy or whatever. So I doubt I'll sell it.
Cerebus, I just one big thing here. I just want to shout out. Yes, I did see. There's a new thing called Sham Comics, Source Point Press. It is. I'm looking forward to getting it. I put an order in. I don't know when I'll get it though, because my shop doesn't call me when shit comes in. It sits there when I go in there for something else, and then they tell me, "Oh yeah, you got a big stack of stuff back here."
Yeah, Sham Comics did they did the homage to the Smash comics that I have.
Nice.
Wonder World. This is a classic cover.
Yep.
Wait, that's Double Action Comics. Isn't that an Adventure Comics?
It's an Adventure Comics is there. Adventure Comics 34 is the one that I'm desperate for.
Why does that say Double Action? Is that Canadian print, or is that
that's an action. That should be an Adventure comic.
I don't know why what the story is with this, but it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'll look into that. 40, another good year. I love that cover. I'm not sure what that green structure is in the background, but
that's what the Jawas go in.
That's an underwater cover, and that's an underwater tank.
That's a sandcrawler. It looks like a sandcrawler from Tatooine.
It's actually like a boat on treads, like an underwater boat submarine.
Wow.
And it's an underwater scene. A lot of people don't know.
Oh yeah, his bubbles coming up. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's Lou Fine. I think that's a Lou Fine too.
It could be. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Oh boy,
that's killer.
Now look at, that's like a weird flaming Human Torch. Strange.
Yeah, I like some of the Zip comics are real good.
There you go. What Jumbo?
Elephant.
Yeah. What number is that? That's
20. 29 maybe.
29, yeah. 29.
Hard to tell who the artist is on that. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't have any number.
I have the 33. I think I have. I'll look at that because they're all the same. It's Iger Shops. Who knows?
That's a nice one. You got to get this, DS.
I know it's a shark cover. It's on my list.
Nice.
What is that thing he's holding? This like red kind of contraption there.
I don't know.
He's looking for.
I don't know what that is.
He's borrowing the same Crocs the Watcher wears in Fantastic Four 48 though. Same footwear as the
they have like splints on their feet.
Yeah. Oh,
classic. First team book.
Yep. First team is Justice Society. Got Sandman in there. One of my favorites was Spectre. Nice. Oh, that's a classic one.
That's a great Schomburg cover.
Yeah. That's the off to war. That's pre Pearl Harbor.
Yep.
That's a huge one.
Now 41. We just saw that going for 100K.
Nice, Pope. Good stuff here we got here. Uncanny Kyle Walker. Hello, we doing? Mac Daddy. Good morning.
Cover, right?
DS's favorite Superman cover. Just kidding.
It's horrible.
Just kidding.
No offense to people who collect it. It's a cool book. It's a Golden Age book. But for my PC, it's like that does nothing for me with the eagle and the flag. It's too too patriotic, buy war bonds and stamps type thing. I don't.
Well, what if you found out that the artist who did this was living with L.B. Cole at the time, and L.B. Cole kind of gave him some graphic design advice?
I would still not be on my list, but I would not surprise me because that looks like an LB Cole type of bird. So
That's not true, but it would be cool if it was.
I would,
Running rumors.
that would be something I would buy if I could get a good price, and it was
This is the first.
with that black cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is a Pep, I think 22, I think. One of the ones right after Archie came out.
Yep, this is a really hard one. Pep 22 is Archie, but this was a big one. The big thing with this is the Statue of Liberty and the swastika in it there at the same time. This is a really hard one to find, and those people that collect those World War II covers, this is one of the big ones that doesn't have like the combat scenes in it as much. This is a big cover. This is a really hard one to find.
And it's one that you hate because you don't really care about Archie, but because it's such an early Archie issue, the price is skyrocketing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Pep 22 is on that Elite 8 Golden Age books. Has to be the one that's Archie.
I honestly think Pep 22. I like Pep 22. If it was not the first Archie, I would go after it because it's a really cool cover with that.
Yeah.
Book, yeah.
Coming down and stomping. You know what I mean? I think the cover on that's awesome, but first Archie, it's not something I'll ever pay that for it.
Yeah.
Well, there was a time when I thought, I entertained the thought of picking up all the Nazi pre-Pearl Harbor books. And then, Pep 22, it's like, nope.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that.
yeah, exactly.
That was Pep 23, by the way. Here's a nice Nazi war cover.
All right.
I think that's a fairly popular early action, actually. I think I like that.
It's up there with the 13 and 27.
And it's fairly affordable if you're into that. Pretty affordable.
We're in the war.
Yep. It's one of the only sensations where she's directly attacking Hitler.
Yeah, and soon it's going to be arm in arm. Let's,
And I almost think that's an homage to a Bomber Comics issue that has a bowling scene like that, where the bowling pins are the three, and that Bomber Comics I think came first.
Interesting. Let's see, Boy Commandos 1.
That's a nice. I might have picked this up off the bat because that's exactly what I would have probably bought.
That's a Simon cover, probably, right?
Yep.
Kirby Simon. Yep.
Kirby
Great.
Simon. This was the best. That was a good.
First appearance of Mary Marvel right here.
That's a big book. That's a tough one too to find a good grade.
Yep. Nice Joker cover.
Yep.
Pretty good Schomburg.
I think Schomburg Nazi cover. Yeah, that's a tough one to find too.
Some very strange masks there.
Yeah, kind of like Sandman masks.
If you ever saw Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, I think there's a scene where there's a little kid who I think is David Lynch's son, and he has a mask very similar to this. It's very creepy.
Nice.
Anyway.
Well, Lynch is creepy, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite Lynches.
This is a great. I love this black cover.
Yep.
It's very strange. It's like she's recording a dream.
I mean, a lot of Sensation and early Wonder Woman works are their covers. I'm going to say are a lot better than the Superman and Batman during that era.
Absolutely.
Yeah, probably the best one of the three.
There was that consistency that he brought to the title for sure.
Yeah, I've always said those Wonder Woman's that's a good one.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Any of those funny animals, timely with the Axis leaders on it, usually go for a good money.
Yeah, especially the rabbit. Oh, there she is. Yeah,
that's a good Wonder Woman one.
Very, very popular cover for years.
I used to really like this, and then I was showing it to someone, and I still like it, but they were like, "Yeah, but 1,000 years in the future, that's not very, I don't know, optimistic." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so. That is a ways away."
I want to know where the flying cars are. There we go. Rangers. It's a classic Ranger tie-up.
That's great.
Right up. Yep. Good stuff.
44.
Haunted Tank. Let's get it. Yeah, nice.
I love this composition on this Schomburg is amazing. The depth that you get from the ships, the bombers going way back into space. It actually has a really nice perspective.
Yeah, and I like the bombers are gigantically huge and weird and yellow.
Yeah.
Now,
Really
there's something significant about this book. Does somebody die in it? Does Toro? No. What happens in this book?
I don't recall anything.
And I have to look that up. I remember that's on the list of like top 10 human books.
I think you could get it fairly cheap. 45. First, we got our own series. So
got a score here. Cool. Captain Midnight, nice.
I don't really understand what's going on with this.
Well, this is apparently the Captain Midnight's sidekick, like his Q, if you're a bot, is flying around in a allied plane with how many kamikaze he took down, and there's a Zero in the background and a Zero coming his way.
I see. Okay.
Midnight is a pilot. Captain Midnight's a pilot.
Here we go. 46.
Who's that? Is that Lou Fine?
No, that's probably like a Rudy Pelaez or somebody else. But that is a uber sought after Golden Age book, and it's just really tough to find, and it's super expensive. That's one of the most sought after of like dark GA type books.
Is that one of the first decapitation or potential?
I mean, we're not even in the pre-code horror stage. We're still in.
I think there's been decapitation covers well before 44. I mean, I probably have some.
Oh, okay.
Hey, TJ, how are you? Good having you here.
I feel like I never see this.
Speaking of,
I mean, there's been a couple for sale in the last year to 18 months that I've seen, and there's a couple guys on IG, GA collectors, that have a copy of this. So you can get it, but you've got to have a budget ready to go for when it pops up at an auction, and it's not cheap. I mean, even a 3.0 of this is probably, I don't know what it would go for today, probably $5 or $6 grand for a 3.0, I would think, at this point.
Let me do something really quick, Knights. First,
all right.
Do this for Paul while I'm doing this right here. We're doing the Dragonheart boxes. We still have about a dozen or so left. Inside these boxes here is 7 books donated from TJ the Slab Dragon Watson. If you who's in the chat, if you see them, they are $39.99. I will look for the banners here. Hang on one second here. Here they are. Babyface on the way. Luke Ross. Here it is. $39.99, and $29.99 goes for the 7 books you get. And one of the books we kind of went through was like kind of I wouldn't say a key, but a good a higher valued book right there. We use the thing of variants, and the condition of all these books is it's ridiculous. It's a TJ Watson Slab Dragon pedigree. These are called Dragonheart boxes. Moira put the stickers on herself this weekend. If you watch that video on Sunday night on Comic Core, that's my house here. And Paul, Moira, and the whole family came out to visit us, and it was a good time. I mean, it was a lot of emotion, a lot of hugging, and we had a good time. And it was just we're doing something good, and that's what we're doing about. So if you want it, if you want a TJ box, again, $39.99 to One Comic Core, no S, onecomicore@gmail.com. All payments, friends and family. If you want to, great. That's what, 80, 79, 78. You'll get two separate boxes though, because literally I'm not going to know which one's going to be yours once we start mailing them out. I had to order specific boxes from the post office, who's sending them to me to fit these. They need to be 3 3/8, so I had to order those today. So they'll be here in 3 days. So yeah, what do you say? By Thursday or Friday they'll be here, so we'll get these things out this weekend. Hopefully this weekend, if not Monday, but we should be okay. Again, we'll just leave that there, then we'll go back to the rest of the show. Again, onecomicore@gmail.com, all payments, friends and family. And you get some fun books in there. I mean, there's a Spawn 150, 2 of them. There's a Jim Lee variant and a Greg Capullo variant that are just immaculate conditions. You've got some there's an autographed Jim Lee, X-Men 1. in there. There's a sketch cover, a Yu Hulk Wolverine sketch cover that's kind of hard to find. A lot of exclusive variants, a lot of Michael Turner, just great stuff. There's usually the goal was to put two, and then one random higher end book. But some of the books got 8 because we just said, okay, let's put this one an extra one. And some of them have artwork by the girls, my daughter and his daughter. So just pretty fun right there. So let's add this back in, and we'll go back there. Again, $39.99 to onecomicore@gmail.com. All payments, friends and family. All right, back to this. 1947 now. Tell me.
Yeah, there wasn't much in this month, but there was
you got Namora, early Namora.
You know,
yeah.
I don't know what the hell Submariner's in.
Yeah, but Namora's up there.
It's like
her on the cover is good.
Later one wasn't like Carl Burgos cover or something.
Well, yeah, it would make sense. He would started doing all those. Yep.
I like this.
I like that series. I have the ones I've got like what do I have? I have 1948. I got like 32 through. I have 32, 33, 34 of that series. Those are very early Gil Kanes and Bill Buscema and John Buscema as in some of these. Not this one, but
her face is excellent. You could see the like malice in her face. It's great.
Who was that? Burgos on that one? I can find out. I have a whole Atlas thing. Oh, I love those.
48. It's a great Black Rider cover.
The Black Rider.
Satan Onward.
Who did that? That's Bill Everett, probably.
Don't know.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. That's a nice one. 49.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
It's weird. Captain America.
Captain America.
And I don't get why these sell for what they sell for, these Captain America Weird Tales at the end. I don't get it. Because they're not Captain America really big war covers, obviously. And they're not very good as far as like a horror genre. And I mean, this one sells for more than I think. The one with the red skull on it is
that makes sense, though.
But it's a red skull cover at least. But this
and caps on it.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's like a conversation piece because it has Captain America's name, I guess. But I don't know. I'd rather get it early, timely. Here we go.
And Be the Jungle Boy. I have that exact book, I think.
Nice. 52 pages.
Oh, I got my Buscema stuff up. I don't know if it's going through Looney Tunes.
There's a lot, throughout a lot of these years, there's tons of Disney and Bugs. This is what I thought was a good Bugs cover. A
lot of 4 colors. Del4 colors. There are some ones that you might want to go after. That's a great Marvel Tales.
This is a crazy Marvel Tales cover.
Great book right there.
That's really detailed. It's really nice.
Yeah, and that's as far as the Atlas books go, that one's in the top half. That's a pretty decent one, and it's not as easy to find as a lot of the Atlas books, honestly.
And I bet a nice one is hard to find.
There's so many Atlases, but there's not a lot of any particular title you see a lot of until the later ones, Oh, I have that one, yep. I have that signed by a woman by the name of Barbara Sheena. Yep, that's a good one.
Now that's a pretty funny crocodile.
Yeah, that's crocodile wearing wolf in sheep's clothing, kind of.
Gun.
Yeah, I think he thought he was going to be able to scare her by wearing that, but she doesn't care.
She's
like, there's a crocodile. Quick, kill it.
Yeah, she's stabbing something. She's over stabbing.
50. Oh, that's a great cover. I don't know who did this, but I really like it. Kind of reminds me of a.
Well, it's Fiction House. That could be, what year is it?
50.
Could be Kamen. Could be Joe Doolin.
Could be Solardo too. I mean, who knows?
I have a lot of. This is a Solardo. This is one of my favorite Solardos. To give you an idea what Solardo does. So.
Oh yeah.
This is him.
It reminds me of the color that Schomburg would use in some of his later thrilling stuff, the Zila stuff.
It does look like that.
Yeah. Mystic.
Interesting Mystic with him cutting the tree. I'm not sure why I put this in there.
Yeah, the Mystic Mystic is one of the best Atlas PCH titles, and that's probably the worst cover in it.
Yeah.
Just getting started with it at that point, so it's a really good Atlas PCH title, though. Mystic.
Here's another Black Rider. I mean, it's very similar to the last one.
I got to put this up there. TJ's opinion on that cat book is an amazing cover on my Grails list, and it goes for so much because you guys set the GA on fire. Yeah, we might be responsible.
TJ, if I had the power to fix the prices of
now we're into Joe Doolin.
So it's not worth
Yep, we're in Kanga. That's my favorite. I have that one. Yeah, that's my Earl War. That's probably Kubert.
New War. This is pretty interesting.
That's hang on.
That almost, has a Wrightson-ish feel.
No, I can tell you who it is.
That's a Ken.
Ken Bald. That's who it is. Ken Bald.
I think he's probably the hardest at this point. Probably the hardest working cover artist in comics, because he did all the covers for the ACG books, and they had a ton of them, and they didn't slow down, Comic Code Authority or not. They just plowed through, and he did so many covers for all the ACG titles, and they had quite a few.
Nice. That is on my list of vampire covers of my Dracula covers. Vampire, yes, but mostly a Dracula style.
Well, you can score a copy of this like a mid-grade or a fine.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap for a couple of $100. Yeah.
Yeah, you can probably get like a 6.0 for like 300.
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm working on that original art piece, so most of my stuff is going to artists.
Now, what does that mean? Buy no less.
What do you mean?
It says that on the cover. Buy no less.
Probably because most of the other books at the time are 32 pages or 48 pages.
Yeah, 52 pages.
More of the competitors at this point, I think a lot of them are.
I'll get TJ throws out. He's got an 8.0 in this book.
The line work, the fine line work on the death reminds me of a Wrightson or a Lou Fine.
Mm.
Yeah, that could easily be a House of Mystery.
I have a whole stack of Wrightsons all around me right now for the
magazine Haunted.
Now, this one is the rarest PCH book in existence right here.
Oh, really?
TJ, I didn't show you this. Let me do this really quick. Before TJ has to go, I want to have TJ see this. TJ, I picked this up. This is Wrightson, 1968. This book. This is a hardcover. This is Wrightson. He did this in high school, apparently. And it says it is a little local press in Baltimore, Maryland. And I got this book, and it's pretty well known. Conan right there. You got L. Sprague right there. L. Sprague DeCamp right there, who is, one of the original Conan writers of the Golden Age. And that is signed by him as well. And the best part is, right here at the bottom of the screen, I will read you. The dust wrapper for this book was worked by young Baltimore artist Bernie Wrightson. So there we go. I got one. The original art for this is for sale currently on a Comic Link. If anybody's thinking about sending me a Christmas gift, I wear a size this. Okay. Let's go back.
So tell me, why is this the rarest PCH comic?
There's like 9 or 10 on the census, and it's the people who are into PCH just know that this one is virtually impossible to find. It's just there's just none of them out there. Even if you're in PCH, you know how rare this book is. When you know that there's 10 on the census, your reaction is, wow, I didn't even think there'd be that many. Do you know what I mean? It's that rare. And I think I've seen one for sale in the last 2 years, and it was like a 1.5. But yeah, I mean, if you come across this at a con, or if a dealer has it, or you see
my Instagram up in case TJ.
Because if you even have a 2 or a 3 of this, it's probably, just on a rarity, it's probably a $700 or $800 book. But it's a super cool cover too. But it's the rarest PCH there is, and I don't know why it's not. The rest of the issues in that title are not, ultra rare. That one is. I don't know why.
I like the little Dr. Death in the corner there. It's really cool looking.
Yep.
On all those in this title, he's like the narrator. He always gives us little talk.
Yep.
He's like their version of the Crypt Keeper.
Crypt Keeper, or later on in the creepy books.
Nice one.
Nice.
That's another one that reminds me of the Zila.
Oh, the Schoenberg style. Okay.
Yeah.
Not Schoenberg.
52.
Ajax Farrell, good stuff. A lot of these are hard to find in good condition. These are harder to find pre-code horror books. It's not a very popular title, but I do think that it's gaining some steam. DS,
Did you say it had the concentration camp story in it?
I don't know.
It's well known for its concentration camp story in the interior of that issue.
But these, I think Ajax Farrell and these are going up in value. I think Voodoo is going to be a one to contend with some of the bigger names.
Which one's worth more, that one or this one?
In a better condition, a Voodoo is harder to find.
Yeah, I mean, the Web of Mystery doesn't sell for much, but the Voodoo doesn't. That's one of the lower Voodoos, but I would say the Voodoo's better than the Web of Mystery.
This is a cool cover.
It is a really cool atlas, but
it's the Hulk.
Yeah, it's a but I think people that own it think it's worth more than people that are looking to buy it. So whenever you see these, people are always asking a lot, and it doesn't. It's pretty standard atlas price, but it's a rock solid, cool atlas book for sure.
I honestly think that this is one of those books. Like I collect some of the pre-superhero Marvel Atlas stuff, like that are kind of like prototypes, or I kind of like do like the Sorcerer. A lot of Doctor Strange characters they've been prototyping early on, and there's no real Thor prototype except Thor himself. But I do like those, and this is one of those that are considered a Hulk prototype.
He is green.
No, they have Hulk. There's Hulk. There's stuff like that. There's late jumbos.
This is an weird one, like a ghost.
This is, I think that, what number is this? 160 what?
I can't tell.
Yeah, it gets really weird later. Jumbo gets like towards the end. The last series are just terrible.
Yeah,
the last two are very hard to find.
It looks
like
it's amateur.
60s.
It's probably like a Maurice Whitman painted cover type thing. Well, probably not painted cover, but it's probably Maurice Whitman or something. Yeah, they don't. They're weird. The end of Jumbo, JD's right. They're weird. Like it just switches in kind of a weird way to this stuff.
And it fails really quick because it stops at 163. So
that's number 166.
Like a vampire.
166. It goes two more. There's two more at 168. The last elephant cover is 163.
I'm not sure if this is a Baker or not, but it kind of looks like it.
Yeah.
Well, he never signed anything, but he worked on that title, so who knows?
Yeah, and he did most of when it got to the romance stuff like this. This was his bread and butter. He was better at this. Oh, that's a classic cover.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a classic.
World War III.
Yep, that's really hard to find.
I thought this was a really neat sci-fi cover that I never even seen before.
I think I've seen that cover swiped 100,000 times on the side things of science fiction book.
That's a standard publication, I think, and they had a few titles, but they didn't put out a lot of copies of anything in their titles. So any of the standard stuff is sort of tough to find, and there's a lot of low-grade stuff out there. But there's, I mean, I don't see that one too much.
Nice.
They're not highly sought after, but they're tough to find. If you're trying to complete a run of a standard title, it's really tough to do.
Nice.
Love that cover.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. It's like a atomic.
That could be Dick Ayers. Is that Dick Ayers? Who's that?
Mike Sekowsky cover.
Okay.
According to this. And we got,
Strange
probably Everett.
Yeah, he was doing the early. Oh, keep going. We might hit one. Here it is. I was going to wait for that one.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I'm waiting for this one. This is the one that, I don't know. What do you, DS? This is would you say this is the most sought after of the pre-code or the?
That's definitely the top astonishing cover.
Right.
It's not the best atlas, but it's top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a really, really good PCH book. I mean, it's obscene. The huge eyes are shooting beams at this guy and melting his body in the graveyard. I mean, it
sucks to be him.
Cool.
And it's Joe Manili, who a lot of people were saying was up there with Kirby as far as how good and fast he could draw, but he ended up passing away, I think, not too long after this, I don't think.
He died right after this. He died on a train.
Yeah.
He got fired. He got fired right after this.
whenever you see a Manili cover with water or liquid, I think he's one of the best at drawing water or liquid, and this has a fair bit of that on there. But Manili's liquid water type drawing skills is second to none.
One thing about Joe Manili is he got fired right around this time, and on his way home the day there, they had a few drinks, and I think he was passing. The story is he was passing through either subway cars or he dodged or jumped from a trolley in New York. I've heard subway car most likely was what it was, and he died pretty much instantly right there, and that was it. He was young, and they said he killed himself, but they don't think he did. They don't know if he did or not. He was not like Wally. Well, you know, some of these other guys like Wally Wood's so batshit he puts a gun in his head. You know. Next, Rawhide Kid, good stuff.
Number 1.
Yep, that's that. Honestly, these things are picking up steam. DS, you see on the boards. Westerns are picking up as much as war covers now. It's getting a little bit out of hand right now. There's nothing left because I have guys betting against me now in freaking elephant covers, and that was like you're sinning right now. You there's no etiquette to the boards anymore. I usually get a 10-minute window of saying, all right, it's for JD first until then. Now I get all these snipers out there, and you're watching probably, you pieces of shit. Go ahead, take my stuff. All right.
What happens is you get guys who are selling stuff on the boards. They're advertising their board stuff other places, and
I know it's funny.
on the boards, and everybody on the boards is doing that, and it brings a lot more people onto the boards, which I think is the point of it.
Yeah, the boards are going good right now, and if everybody wants, you know, just check out the boards. They're fun. It's not just for buying and selling. I want to make sure that's clear. There's a lot of information that I use on the show, that I get a lot of information from. If I have questions, as a group of people I ask on the boards, there's a Golden Age group saying, hey, I ran across this. Can I get some confirmation on what this interior is and something? And sure as shit, someone's going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the boards is a great resource. I don't go on there very much because I can't stand the format. But it is
everybody there's an obnoxious prick because we've all been doing it for so long. We hate newcomers, but we need them. Because if not, it's just going to be the same 15 of us or 25 of us that have been doing this for 15 years. I have I'm finally JD on the board. I originally was a different name, and now I'm JD, which is good.
This is also Manili. So
Manili, yeah.
Cool. And then I think finally, yeah, there's only 2 here, and really nothing interesting, but I wanted to show you the difference. The way they clothe the women now is very different. Yeah. Look at that.
Oh, for God's sake. That's $2. By the way.
Remember, you're only a robot. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's an unusual tale from 53 versus what's an unusual tale in 55.
Yeah.
It's a pretty lame for an unusual tale, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, you know, this one, she's like, maybe now he'll notice me. Well, not if you have to wear that.
Take some clothes up there.
Yeah, she would have noticed it in 1953.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not gonna notice
Flash Gordon. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
and Alex Raymond, very hard to find. Some of his original artwork goes for a lot of money.
That's that for that.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks for doing that, man. Always appreciate that.
One thing before we close out here, one of the things I collect now, the monster covers, you know, and I started doing some of the there. I want to close out by saying that I will not be collecting the Golden Age Frankenstein run because I really don't like it. You know what I mean? You've all seen it.
Good thing, because we were all wondering about that.
Dick Briefer one? Oh.
I'm not betting any of those. I'm not getting any of those. That's the one I'm staying away from.
Well, if you want to go after the Dick Briefer Frankenstein Golden Age run, it's affordable.
No, yeah, but it's terrible.
Maybe that's why it's affordable. I don't go after it.
I people always there's one Golden Age Frankenstein I really want. It's a classic comics number. I think it's 1 or 2, but it's a very which one is it?
Classics Illustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get the first print of that, it's a very early Frankenstein story.
That's what I want. I want the first print, not the 17,000th print. You know, it's actually got the highest. It's the highest HRN numbers. I think it goes ridiculously how high it gets.
Yeah, I mean, Classics Illustrateds are tough to figure out. To navigate.
You got to get the right one.
Prints and what's the reprints, unless you really know the HRN system that's on the back covers.
There are a few.
That Frankenstein one is semi sought after, and it can be pricey in the higher grades. But they're out there. I mean, that's on my deep list, deep one.
But there's other ones of Classic Illustrated. The Count of Monte Cristo is one. The first edition of that's very hard to find. The first run of that what's the one that everybody likes? The two names.
Oh, Classics Illustrated?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the only one on my list is Frankenstein.
Yeah, there's something that's later on. I don't know if it's a Classic Illustrated.
There's a Faust that's similar to a Classic Illustrated, and that's
the serious prize Frankenstein. Yes, hate the funny ones. So the serious ones, I agree with you, TJ. I like those. Oh, well, you missed this one, TJ. I picked this up, Mike Plug. I did some trading. I grabbed another copy of this, even though I sold one on a Wednesday. I got this on a Sunday. Sold it on a Friday. Picked up another one on Sunday for free because I swapped out extra Avengers. Got another one of these. I needed to complete that run. And
Frankenstein, I'd go after.
Which one's that?
Mary Shelley.
Yep.
It wasn't illustrated, the first one.
1836.
You want to know a Frankenstein book that's on my list that I am going to pick up sometime? Might surprise some of you. But for me, it's a Frankenstein book. Is Hulk 1. I mean, he's fashioned after Frankenstein, and that's, for me, that's one of the rare Silver Age superhero books that I want is a Hulk 1. And to me, it's just it's a huge sort of a horror grail for me because he's based on Frankenstein, and that's like the first Frankenstein version, superhero version of Frankenstein. And I would like a Hulk 1. It's got a cool look to it. Yeah, that's a cool book. It's like a Frankenstein book, man.
But this is a Frankenstein.
Yeah, well, that's on my list too, the Bernie Wrightson. But I'll buy that. Let's make a trade, Knights. Let me get that Hulk 1 off you. I got stuff I can trade you. We can work something out.
But the only thing I like about this one, the most part about it, is that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy that Wrightson Frankenstein soon too.
Yeah.
And I think I put in the chat. I don't know if I have the number right, but Prize Comics 7, I think.
Yes, that's you guys love that shit.
Yeah, well, that's got the first horror story in comics, I think, and it's got a Frankenstein.
I think it's considered the first horror book, right?
So that would be on my first list with Eerie 1, the first true full horror comic book.
This is my favorite Frankenstein, and I still I know I'm sitting there, but if Frankenstein, I have to admit, was the book of the classic books of all the Bram Stoker's Dracula, and anything that you read was younger. I didn't read a lot of Jane Austen, but all the other stuff, that was my favorite one, and I've read it multiple times. And the drawing that Bernie does, I consider to be perfect because that's what, if you read it, long flowing black hair. It doesn't say anything about square head and bolts in the neck.
Yeah.
And by the way, TJ, I did pick up this. I traded away a bunch of books for this. Not a bunch. I traded away two 1980s Avengers that I had backups for. And I just got two of them slabbed. And I got all these, including that Bernie Wrightson Conan. Unaccredited, but it's Bernie Wrightson, according to everything I found out, that Bernie Wrightson did the second story in here. He did a lot of the inking and a lot of the work. And Barry Windsor Smith, this is the first time he does the inking. So it's pretty good. And Doctor Strange 170, Monster Frankenstein, Mike Plug, the Juggernaut cover, and the Spider-Man cover. That completes that run for me, with the exception of I forgot I need a new 175, and that is one of my favorite. The Astral Plane Doctor Strange. Not Golden Age, but I like sharing that shit.
All right, I gotta get going, guys.
Yep, we're closing out here. Thank you all for being a friend. Thanks again, and don't forget Dragonheart boxes. Check out. I'll put a link in the chat. I'll put a link in here afterwards at $39.99. We have about a dozen or so left. I was able to make 26. So let's go. There we go. Have a good one, everybody.
See you later.
Okay, brand and broadcast.